Voice of Korea.
Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
Now we begin the English language transmission from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
We now place in amongst the covers. Songs janitor Kim Il-sung. Jong-un was elected the first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea at the first session of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly, which was convened at the historic time when the whole party, entire army, and all people vigorously accelerate the grand march for opening a heyday of the Sungun Korea in the revolutionary spirit of the Pact. The session solemnly declared that respected Kim Jong-un, First Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, who leads the country and people along the road of victory and prosperity with unusual ideological and theoretical wisdom, distinguished political ability, and noble captivating personality, was elected the first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK, according to the unanimous will and desire of all the officers and soldiers of the People's Army and people throughout the country. The historic movement respected Kim Jong-un was declared to have been elected again to the supreme post of the DPRK. All the deputies and attendants extended the greatest honor and warmest congratulations to Kim Jong-un, raising foamy cheers of hurrah, representing infinite respect and intense loyalty. It is a great national event for glorifying the socialist motherland, the valuable legacy of the great generalissimus all over the world as eternal Kim Il-sung Kim Jong-il Korea, and accomplishing the revolutionary course of Juche, the revolutionary course of Sungun, started in the Pact Forest. The respected Kim Jong-un, symbol of lightness and ever victorious banner of the Sungun Korea, was invariably elected first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. His election is a manifestation of the absolute support and trust of the entire Soviet persons and people for Marshal Kim Jong-un, who, with the noblest moral obligation, has opened a new chapter in accomplishing the cause of leaders' immortality, enabled the revolutionary life and immortal exploits of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il to be honored down through generations, developed in depth Kim Il-sungism, Kim Jong-ilism into the only guiding idea of the DPRK, and is ushering in new annals of victory of the Sungun Revolution by arousing the spiritual strength of the entire army and people. It is a historic event that demonstrated the invariable will of our army and people to follow Marshal Kim Jong-un alone, holding him in high respect as the only center of unity and leadership in whatever storms and stress. All the attendants were filled with a full determination to staunchly follow the road of the Sungun Revolution as his true revolutionary comrades and comrades in arms, with a great national pride and honor of holding him in high esteem at the supreme posts of the party, state, and army, and with firm confidence and optimism about the future. The Democratic People's Republic of Korea, advancing under the leadership of respected Kim Jong-un, holding in high esteem great Kim Il-sung as its eternal present and great Kim Jong-il as the eternal chairman of its National Defense Commission, will surely achieve final victory of the cause of building a thriving socialist nation for materializing the dream and ideal of the people. The first session of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK was held at the Mines Assembly Hall on April the 9th. Present at the session were newly elected deputies to the Supreme People's Assembly. Also present there as observers were officials of the party, armed forces, and government organs, public organizations, ministries, national agencies, and institutions of science, education, literature and arts, public health, and the press. Respected Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of our party and people, came out to the rostrum. All the attendants thunderously applauded towards him. The rostrum was taken by Kim Yong-nam, Park Bong-ju, Choi Ryong-jae, and other senior officials of the party, state, and army, and Kim Yong-dae, chairman of the Central Committee of the Korean Social Democratic Party. All the attendants observed the moment of silence in memory of the great Kim Il-sung, founder and eternal president of the DPRK, and the great Kim Jong-il, image of the powerful Pact-Force nation and eternal chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. Deputy Yang Hyung-suk declared the session open. Chairman and Vice Chairman of the Supreme People's Assembly were elected. Credentials Committee of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly was elected. Agenda items of the first session of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK were decided on 1. Election of the first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. 2. Election of the state leadership of the DPRK. 3. Settlement of the implementation of the state budget for 2K 102 or 2013 and state budget for 2K 103 or 2014 of the DPRK. The first agenda item was discussed. Deputy Kim Jong-nam made a speech proposing election of the first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. He solemnly presented to the Supreme People's Assembly the proposal of the Central Committee and the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea on electing respected Kim Jong-un first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK, representing the unanimous will of the entire party, the whole army, and all people. The proposal, representing the unanimous will and earnest desire of all the members of the Workers' Party of Korea, spokespersons of the People's Army and the people, to invariably hold Kim Jong-un at the supreme post of the Republic, enjoyed absolute support of all the deputies and other candidates. The session solemnly announced that respected Kim Jong-un, first Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army, who is leading the revolutionary corps of Juche, the corps of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, to victory, was elected first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. The session discussed the second agenda item. And elected the President, Vice President, all Vice Presidents, Secretary General, and members of the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly. The session elected Vice Chairman and members of the National Defense Commission according to the proposal of respected Kim Jong-un, first Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, first Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK, and Supreme Commander of the Korean People's Army. Premier of the Cabinet of the DPRK was elected at the session. The session appointed the members of the Cabinet proposed by Deputy Park Bong-gyu, Premier of the Cabinet, with unanimous approval. It appointed a Director of the Supreme Public Prosecutor's Office and elected a President of the Supreme Court. Elected at the session were the Legislation and Budget Committees of the Supreme People's Assembly. Premier Park Bong-gyu swore on behalf of the members of the Cabinet. The session heard the report of the Credentials Committee of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly made by its Chairman Kim Pyong-hye and adopted the decision on its approval. The third agenda item was discussed at the session. The session adopted the decision of the Supreme People's Assembly on approving the result of the implementation of the state budget of the DPRK for 2K 102 or 2013 and the law or state budget of the DPRK for 2K 103 or 2014. Chairman Cha Tae-bok declared the session closed. Following is the result of the election at the first session of the 13th Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK. Kim Jong-nam was elected President of the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK. Yang Jong-sop and Kim Yong-do, Vice Presidents. Kim Yong-ju and Choi Yong-nim, Honorary Vice Presidents. Hwang Sun-ok, Secretary General, and Kim Yang-gun, Tae Jong-soo, John Yong-nam, Hyun Sang-ju, Lee Myung-gil, Kim Jong-sung, Kim Wan-soo, Ryu Mi-yong, Kang Myung-chul, Kang Su-rin, and Chun Kyung-nam, members. Cha Ryong-hye, Lee Yong-mu, and Oh Gung-yeol were elected Vice Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK, and Chang Jong-nam, Park Do-chun, Kim Won-hong, Choi Bu-il, and Cho Chun-ryong, members. Park Bong-gyu was elected Premier of the Cabinet of the DPRK, and Roh Do-chul was appointed as Vice Premier and Chairman of the State Planning Commission, Kim Yong-jin as Vice Premier, Lee Mu-yong as Vice Premier and Minister of Chemical Industry, Lee Sul-man as Vice Premier and Minister of Agriculture, Lee Su-yong as Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kim Man-soo as Minister of Electric Power Industry, Moon Myung-hak as Minister of Coal Industry, Kim Yong-kwang as Minister of Meteorological Industry, Chon Kil-soo as Minister of Railways, Kang Song-kwan as Minister of Land and Maritime Transport, Lee Ha-chul as Minister of Mining Industry, Lee Chung-sam as Minister of State Natural Resources Development, Bae Hak as Minister of Oil Industry, Han Byung-guk as Minister of Forestry, Lee Jong-guk as Minister of Machine Building Industry, Lee Se-sun as Minister of Atomic Energy Industry, Kim Jae-sung as Minister of Electronics Industry, Kim Chul-ho as Minister of Posts and Telecommunications, Dong Jong-ho as Minister of Construction and Building Materials Industry, Kwon Sung-ho as Minister of State Construction Control, Cho Yong-chul as Minister of Food and Consumer Goods Industries, Lee Hyuk as Minister of Fisheries, Choi Kwang-jin as Minister of Finance, Chung Yong-soo as Minister of Labor, Lee Byung-nam as Minister of Foreign Trade, Choi Sang-gun as Chairman of the State Commission of Science and Technology, Kang Tae as President of the State Academy of Sciences, Kim Jong-un as Minister of Land and Environment Protection, Kang Yong-soo as Minister of Urban Management, Moon Eun-jo as Minister of Food Procurement and Administration, Kim Kyung-nam as Minister of Commerce, Kim Sun-do as Chairman of the Education Commission and Minister of General Education, Tae Hyung-chul as President of Kim Il-sung University and Minister of Higher Education of the Education Commission, Kang Ha-guk as Minister of Public Health, Park Chung-nam as Minister of Culture, Lee Jong-moo as Minister of Physical Culture and Sports, Kim Sun-gyun as President of the Central Bank, Lee Sung-ho as Director of the Central Bureau of Statistics, and Kim Yong-ho as Secretary General of the Cabinet. Kang Byung-ju was appointed Director of the Supreme Public Prosecutor's Office of the DPRK, and Bang Myung-chul elected President of the Supreme Court of the DPRK. Choi Bu-il was elected Chairman of the Legislation Committee of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK, and Kang Byung-ju, Bang Myung-chul, Park Tae-dok, Tae Hyung-chul, Cha Hwi-rim, and Bang Myung-guk, members of the committee, and Oh Soo-young was elected Chairman of the Budget Committee of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK, and Park Yong-ho, Jae Yong-sam, Hong So-hun, Kim Shi-suk, Chae Yong-il, and Park Hyung-yeol, members of the committee. The great leader President Kim Il-sung's famous work, Let Us Uphold Independence, was brought out in booklet by the City Publishing House of the Democratic Congo. The publishing ceremony took place at the publishing house on the 2nd. On the other hand, the Society for the Promotion of the Relations between Austria and the DPRK posted a brief history of revolutionary activities of the great leader Kim Il-sung on its website on the 1st. The website wrote the smiling portrait. Meetings for remembering the great leader Kim Il-sung, gatherings, seminars on his exploits, lectures, roundtable talks, booking for the exhibitions, and art performances recently took place in China, Britain, Mongolia, Romania, Russia, South Africa, Indonesia, and Ethiopia on the occasion of the Day of the Sun, his birth anniversary. Hung on the front walls of the banners of the event were smiling portraits of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. Displayed there were famous works of President Kim Il-sung and other books and photos introducing the struggle of the Korean army and people for building a thriving socialist nation. Messages of greetings to respected Kim Il-sung were adopted at the gatherings held in Britain and Mongolia. The Bangladeshi newspapers Bullet and Bangla Times on March the 29th featured the Day of the Sun and the 21st anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong-il's election as chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK, and the 2nd anniversary of respected Kim Jong-un's election as first secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and first chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. The newspapers carried articles titled Eastern Son of Juche, Sungun Korea, and Smile of Great Man, illustrated with photographs of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il and respected Kim Jong-un. The International United Confederation of Koreans released a March issue of its monthly socio-political magazine, Tongil, illustrated with a photo of respected Marshal Kim Jong-un speaking at the 8th Conference of Ideological Workers of the Workers' Party of Korea. Members of the Presidium and members and alternate members of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea visited the Crimson Palace of the Sun and paid high respect to the Korea leader Kim Jong-il on Wednesday on the occasion of the 21st anniversary of his election as chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. Flags of the party and the republic and colors were set up on both sides of the full-length statues of the great Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, and lining up there was a guard of honor of the three services of the Korean People's Army and the Worker Peasant Red Guards. A floral basket laid in the name of respected Kim Jong-un, the supreme leader of the party State Army, was found before the statues. Laid before the statues was a floral basket in the joint name of the Central Committee and Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea and the National Defense Commission, the Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly, and Cabinet of the DPRK. The participants paid high respect to the full-length statues of great Generalismos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. In the hall where great Kim Jong-il is laid in state, they paid tribute to him. The Academy Ensemble of the Interior Units of the Russian Ministry of Interior laid a floral basket before the bronze statues of the Korea leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il on Mansu Hill in Pyongyang and paid homage to them on Wednesday. The Presidium of the Supreme People's Assembly of the DPRK promulgated decrees 3630, 3631, 3632, 3633 and 3634 on March the 26th. According to the decrees, order of Kim Il-sung was awarded the Mangyongbaek Station and Ho Dong-ok, chairman of the management board of the Unhung Cooperative Farm in Taechon County, North Pyongan Province. Kim Il-sung Prize to Ko Yong-hee, teacher of physics faculty of Kim Il-sung University. Kim Il-sung is honor prize to 13 exemplary primary organizations and 18 officials and members of the Kim Il-sung Socialist Youth League, and Kim Il-sung Children honor prize to 185 exemplary members of the Korean Children's Union. Workers and trade unionists met at the plaza of the monument to party founding in Pyongyang on Wednesday to celebrate the second anniversary of respected Kim Jong-un's election as first Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and first Chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. The meeting was attended by trade union officials and members and other workers. The reporter and speakers said it was a great event in the history of the nation that respected Kim Jong-un was elected to the supreme posts of the party and state, and called for struggling vigorously under his Sungun-based revolutionary leadership. The art squad of the Central Committee of the Kim Il-sung Socialist Youth League gave a performance at the plaza of the Pyongyang Indoor Stadium on the 9th, on the occasion of the 21st anniversary of the Korea leader Kim Jong-il's election as chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. The performers put on the stage colorful items, impressively showing immortal exploits made by the great Generalismos Kim Jong-il for the party and revolution, for the times and history under the banner of Sungun politics throughout his life. Dancing parties of youth and students were held in different places of the capital city Pyongyang, including plazas of the Pyongyang Indoor Stadium and the Arch of Triumph on the 9th on the occasion of the 21st anniversary of the Korea leader Kim Jong-il's election as chairman of the National Defense Commission of the DPRK. That day, similar dancing parties took place at provincial seats and in cities and counties. The artists of the Moraman Band gave the first performance at the Ryanggang Provincial Art Theater in Hesan City on Wednesday during its tour in the province, a historic land with lively and enterprising performance activities every day enthusiastic with the breath of the Sungun era. Officials People in school, youth and children appreciate the performance. Korea rests on foreign diplomatic representatives. Representatives of international organizations and military attaches visited Mangyongdae, the birthplace of President Kim Il-sung, on Wednesday on the occasion of the Day of the Sun. That day, they also visited the Ryugyong Dental Hospital and Only Children's Hospital. The Academy Ensemble of the Interior Unit of the Russian Ministry of Interior, famous artists of the Varna Opera Theatre of Bulgaria, Circus Troupe of Egypt, Art Troupe of National Song and Dance Theatre of Vietnam, Band Music Troupe of Finland, and delegation of the Yambian Culture and Art Institute of China flew in Pyongyang on Wednesday to participate in the 29th April Spring Friendship Art Festival. The General Association of Koreans in China issued a statement on March the 26th, denouncing the United States for bringing the fictitious human rights issue of the North to the United Nations and kicking up a hysterical fit. The United Confederation of Koreans in Ukraine issued a statement on April the 3rd, denouncing the Japanese authorities' suppression of the General Association of Korean Residents in Japan and Japan Resident Koreans. The Bulgarian Group for the Study of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-ilism and the Bulgaria-Korea Friendship Association issued a statement recently, and Atanas Ianov, honorary chairman of the Bulgarian Communist Union, gave a statement to media in support of the statement of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the DPRK, denouncing the serious challenge of the hostile forces to our sincere efforts to prevent a new war and ensure peace and security in the Korean Peninsula. International Affairs expert of Germany, Dr. Christoph Reichmann, recently contributed an article to the internet homepage Fair International News, criticizing unilateral slander of the self-defensive exercise of the DPRK by the United Nations abused by the United States. The Bulgaria-Korea Friendship Association, the Bangladesh Group for the Study of Sungun Policy, the Pakistani Labor Union, and the Ethiopian Youth Committee for the Study of the Church Idea issued statements recently in denunciation of the Japanese authorities' moves to seize the central hall of the General Association of Korean Residents in Japan. And that's the end of the news read by Kim Hyun-ok and Lee Shang-shin. This is Voice of Korea. We now present the immortal masterpiece, Song of the Anti-Japanese War, written by the Korean leader President Kim Il-sung during the anti-Japanese revolutionary struggle. Louder is the sound of Japanese combat boots trampling upon our lovely land, humiliating tens of millions of our people, murdering, plundering, and committing arson.
all-people scheme of praise, Song of Loyalty. Song of Loyalty, written in Suche 58 or 1969, gives a musical picture of the ennobling ideological sentiments of the Korean people, ready to hold in high respect forever the great leader President Kim Il-sung, who devoted his all to the liberation of the country, to the freedom and happiness of the people, and to the victory of the socialist cause. It is an all-people scheme widely sung from the bottom of their hearts by the Korean people, who have turned out in the building of a prosperous nation today with infinite loyalty to their leader. Now you will enjoy the song sung by Polish musician Stanislaw Andrzej Kiedner in English.
A Korean song sung by a foreigner from our regular program, Foreign Friends Sing. This is Voice of Korea.
We now bring you female soul and mixed band songs. My country is the eternal leader's country.
만경대 고향 시민이 그 소리 따라
People's joy is pervading the whole land in balmy April. The real leader Kim Jong-il was declared Eternal General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, and respected Kim Jong-un elected the Supreme Post of the party at the first conference of the Workers' Party of Korea held in April 2 years ago. On the occasion of the historic anniversary, an endless stream of people is flowing from Mansu Hill with bronze statues of Generalissimus Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. With infinite yearning for them, people say.
성은 더운 전국 기련 미국사업방 도의원 김용근입니다. 우리는 언제나 사장님과 장군님이 그립고 원수는 생각이 각별할 때마다
I'm a nurse, Kim Byung-kum, at the Nursery of Working 6 in Korean-D, Unjeon County, North Jeongan Province. We climb up the Mansu Hill whenever we long for Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il and think of Marshal Kim Jong-un. We have come here to the hill again on the occasion of the day when Kim Jong-il was declared Eternal General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and Marshal Kim Jong-un elected First Secretary of the party.
한강공중학교 1학년 전남 성남민과 이들은 집도이나 철길을 걸으면서 이각성 일성공과 기존을 대한 주의들을 하나씩
I'm Kim Ram-young of Class C of the first year of the Sanggang Senior Secondary School. We are making a march along the course of the 1,000-day journey for learning made by Chosun Kim Il-sung when he was young. We have climbed up the Mansu Hill with learning for the great leaders Generalissimus Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. In their lifetime, we visited our Sanggang province many times and encouraged our parents and wished our school children a happy future. In the future, as a member of the Kim Il-sung Socialist Youth League of Southern Korea, I will prepare myself firmly as a reliable pillar of a prosperous Korea loyal to the leadership of respected Marshal Kim Jong-un.
평양 인사과학대 신미영입니다. 우리 장군님이 과연 어떤 분이십니까? 조선노동당을 용도하시오. 우리 조국을
I am Shin Min-hyang, a student of the Pyongyang University of Printing. What a great man Kim Jong-il is. He is an unrivaled great man who led the Workers' Party of Korea to build Korea into political, ideological power and military power. He is still praised by not only the Korean people but also the world people. It is the greatest happiness and pride of the Korean people to have carried on the revolution under the guidance of so great a man.
조선인민군 군관 오은철입니다. 오늘 장군님의 불매력적을 이하민 김정은 함께서 그대로 이어가고 계시지 않습니까?
I am Go Eun-chul, officer of the Korean People's Army. Today, respected Kim Jong-un is carrying forward the moral exploits of Kim Jong-il. He has done a lot of work in a few years, which should be impossible for others to do for 10 or 20 years. That is why the Korean people are always living in April when Kim Jong-il and Kim Jong-un were held in high esteem. People's heartfelt voices are unending. Infinite are the honor and happiness of the Korean people who have the great leader Kim Jong-il as the Eternal General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and respected Kim Jong-un as the First Secretary of the party. Only victory and glory are in store for the Workers' Party of Korea, shining with the noble names of Generalissimus Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il, and dignified with the leadership of respected Kim Jong-un.
You've been listening to an account under the title Unending Heartfelt Voices. This is Voice of Korea. We now present the song Best is the Bosom of Marshal Kim Jong-un. Friends of secluded island coast and mountain village, he always regards as his home. He calls on people across the country. Oh, best is the bosom of Marshal Kim Jong-un. Love, the bosom the people yearn for. Oh, best is the bosom of Marshal Kim Jong-un.
Now you enjoy your female sextet and chorus, Country of the People.
With this, we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Southeast Asia between 5 and 6 hours UTC on 13,650 kHz and 15,105 kHz, and between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,735 kHz and 13,650 kHz. For Middle East and Northern Africa between 16 and 17 hours UTC on 9,890 kHz and 11,645 kHz, and between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 9,875 kHz and 11,635 kHz. For Southern Africa between 19 and 20 hours UTC on 7,210 kHz and 11,910 kHz. And for Central and South Americas between 4 and 5 hours UTC on 11,735 kHz, 13,760 kHz, and 15,180 kHz. And between 10 and 11 hours UTC on 11,710 kHz and 15,180 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.